Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Opogo Leadership webinar. And this one is on the 7 statements of courageous leadership. My name is Diana Osagie, and I am really pleased to have you on board tonight. All right, we're going to begin. So, I'm quite lively when I'm on webinars. So, as far as I'm concerned, you are right here with me. Okay, so if I get carried away, that's how it's going to be. All right, but as far as I'm concerned, you are right here. Let's begin. Have a read about what it says here about the definition of courage. I've come to love this, especially the last part, limiting the influence of fear. I'm going to get to the statements in a little while. I promise you, there are 7 statements, and these changed not just my leadership life and my work in schools, but they changed me as a person. That is how powerful I found these statements to be. But that limiting the influence of fear is central to our work as school leaders, as school teachers, and people who actually have, we have the lives of young people in our hands. And there is no greater task, there's no greater job, there's nothing more important than making sure the next generation of young people are ready to take their place in the world. So I salute you already. But I think that having courage at the heart of your leadership journey, at the heart of your teaching journey, it really makes a difference. It sets you apart from your colleagues. So let me give you the 4 tenets, as I see them, of courageous leadership. And this is what it came to me, if you like, in a vision one day. But literally, the summer when I was appointed head teacher, I sat and I really thought about what kind of leader I wanted to be. And I began to think about the word courage and confidence and so on. And for those of you who know me, you know I'm not a small person. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm built like a barn door. And when I walk into the room, you know I'm in the room. I just walk in and people turn around and look. Oh, who's that? I'm not small. I'm not subtle. I'm not shy. But I still had to develop courage, even with all of that sort of physical gravitas. That inward courage still had to go on a journey. And this is what I came up with. These, for me, are the 4 tenets, the 4 central pillars of courageous leadership. Now, I do not read PowerPoint to people, so I'm letting you read that for yourself. I am hoping you've got a notepad and pen and you are taking notes for yourself, but I will explain each segment to you. So the first one, in terms of the conquering of fear, and there is a purpose for fear in your leadership journey, in your teaching journey. There is a purpose for it. It stops you from straying into the land of arrogance and keeps you in the land of confidence. So even for this workshop that I'm doing with you now, this webinar I'm doing with you now, I've done, I don't know, scores of webinars over the years, but I still plan each one. I am not arrogant to think that I can just turn up, switch on and wing it. I plan each one. I'm careful not to become arrogant. Fear of the webinar not working, the sound not working, my words not coming out properly, keeps me planning 21 years later in my leadership journey. So there is a purpose for fear in your leadership journey. But when we conquer it, there is that honest reflection of us as leaders to conquer the fear that we have. And fear is there. And I know those of you who are leaders, you would have felt that butterflies in your stomach when things have gone pear-shaped, when things are not going well, when things are out of your control, when staff are not behaving the way you'd want them to, when the young people are not behaving or not doing the way you'd want them to, when parents are giving you a load of grief. There is fear in the work that we do, in any job, in any career, but we do have to learn to conquer it. I'm going to give you some strategies about that because that is part of the courageous journey. So tenet 1, the conquering of fear. Tenet 2, I call it the quadruple self. And that is when you show up to work as near as possible to the 100% version of yourself, as near as possible to the 100% version of your physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual self, the quadruple self. When you come to work, when you come into school, when you show up, you don't bring the leadership version of yourself and the rest stays at home. You bring every part of you. You can't help it. Whatever you've read the night before, the day before, the year before, that memory of those readings will be within you. You bring that to work. How you're feeling, you bring that to work. How you're feeling emotionally, physically, where you're at spiritually, you bring that to work. Now, I'm saying that you don't have to bring your issues to work and display them. I'm not saying to go around like a big hard nut and go about like everything is fine. But I am saying you need to seek a mechanism that works for you to bring a balance, a healthy balance to yourself. Now, let me give you a personal example. So I'll share myself with you. For example, when I first started as a deputy head, I used to walk from my house to the station. It was about a 10-minute walk. And literally, my legs would be burning. And I mean, absolutely, my calves would be like they're on fire. And I'm like, what's this? You know, and I'd be panting and heaving myself up to the station and what have you. And literally, and then I'd get to work and I'd forget all about it. And then, you know, the same thing would happen on the way home. One day, I thought, what is this on my leg that's burning? Why are my calves so tight? I turned around, looked in the mirror one afternoon, and I saw varicose veins like you would not believe. I mean, they were gross. These huge blue throbbing veins going up my calf like the M1 or something. I couldn't believe it. And I'm a scientist. I know how varicose veins are caused. I thought, Diana, you've let yourself go physically to the point where in your 30s, you've got varicose veins. Really? Things were out of balance in my life. That physically, I had let myself go to that point. Intellectually, I was absolutely up there. Spiritually, up there. Emotionally, stable. Physically, a wreck. Not good enough. Not good enough. And when I say to you work-life balance, I don't mean everything is equal. What I mean is that the things in your work, in your life, in your home life are healthy. They're not in balance because we'll never get 50-50, but they should be healthy. They should be on point. They should bring joy and health to your life. I've never seen my life where the work and the home life balances equally, but I have managed to get to a point where each area has good health to it. So this quadruple self, this 4 parts of you, you need to think about, okay, what do I need to do to ensure that each area of my life has good health to it? This is part of your courageous journey because it takes some courage to really have that internal, honest conversation with yourself. What do you think? They say to me, what has this got to do with my school leadership? What has this got to do with me running a department or running a phase or running my classroom? Everything. Because you bring your whole self to the role. We as teachers, we as leaders, we can't help it. We bring our whole selves to our young people, to our schools. And therefore, we need to be healthy in our areas of our life. So let me teach you a quick tool. I've been using this leadership tool for over 20 years now. It's never failed me. I call it MIC. M-I-C. You can MIC anything, but you can MIC, in this example, your quadruple self. M, what will I maintain? It's working well. It's doing good. I'm going to keep on doing this. I, what will I improve? It's okay, but it needs to get better. C, what will I change? It's not okay. I can do much better than this. This needs to change. MIC each area of your quadruple self, your physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual self. MIC those areas. Your life will begin to change. It will underpin your courageous journey. Tenet 3 is the Cornerstone Leader. Cornerstone is another word for values, if you will. The cornerstone is the principal stone found at the foundation of a building, something of prime importance. Listen to me, there is nothing mysterious about great leadership. There are only things you don't yet know. Once you know more, you're in a position to do better. Cornerstone leadership is something that we all need to know. It's about narrating and articulating to yourself, first of all, before you do to others, what are my leadership values? What are the values that anchor my life? What are the things that I will never walk away from and I don't negotiate on? For me, I have 4. Confidence, aspiration, respect, and reflection. I can't help it. That's just who I am. I'm a confident woman. I've been like that since I came out. I came out the womb confident. I came out the womb, tied it up, and made my start in the world. I'm just like that. I am aspirational. If there's a grade A, I want it. If there's a grade 1, I want it. If there's a first, I want it. I can't help myself. I push for the top. I am respectful. Might be my Nigerian upbringing, I don't know, but I can't help it. I can't do profanity. I don't do lewd jokes. I don't do gossip. It's just the way I am. I'm a respectful woman. And I'm a very reflective person. Some people say you overthink things. Well, okay. I think before I speak. I think before I move. I think after I've spoken. I think after I've moved. I can't help it. That's just a value that I have. I will never walk away from those 4 values. What are your cornerstones? Think about it. What is it that's important to you? Is it honesty? Is it integrity? Is it fun? Is it humor? Is it creativity? What is it that makes you you? Don't walk away from it. Articulate it and speak your truth. Again, this will underpin your courageous journey. And the final tenet is vision and oratory. In a way, it speaks for itself. You cannot go anywhere unless you have the vision of where you're going. I have this image in my mind of people sometimes holding a torch to show their way, to show the path in front of them. Don't hold a torch, put the light on. Flood the place with light. Let's see what's there. Let's go for this. Let's have a vision and we can see what's ahead of us and let's push forward. That's what leaders do. Courageous leaders have that kind of, you know what? When I had, for example, when I taught all the way through my headship, I had my own GCSE classes. I always was given set 5, because as far as they were concerned, you're the head teacher, you should be able to teach. I had set 5, teaching them physics, and I insisted, the vision for my classroom, you're all going to pass. I mean, I had children whose target was an E. That's the target, not their current working grade. If they did really, really well, and in the old days we called it 4 levels of progress, 5 levels of progress, they'd get an E. I said, I didn't even tell them those targets. I said everyone's target is a C or a B above. In those days, before 9 to 1. I won. I couldn't help it. I was aspiring for them. But I told them, we can do this. This is how we're going to go for it. I can see it. Come on, walk with me. A vision doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be across the whole school. It can be a vision just for your classroom, for your everyday, for your department, for your phase, for your area of leadership. But then you need the oratory, and that's the skill in speaking. Now, if you know that speaking in front of people, to your peers, large groups, is not your forte, practice, get coaching, get mentoring, get good at it. Don't let it be a weakness. Mick, it's one of the things you need to see change. You need to be a good orator because you've got something to say. You're a courageous leader, and we have to speak up, not just for ourselves, but we speak up as advocates for our young people on their behalf. You have to speak up and find your voice. So those are the four tenets, if you like, the four pillars that hold up your courageous journey. We're getting to the statements. Don't worry, they're coming. Let me show you this first. That's where I started out. I can hear you laughing. Don't laugh. That's me. I'm 6 years old. There's my mum. Isn't she gorgeous? And there's my dad. Isn't he something? I mean, look at those flares. Whenever I look at this picture, look at the flares that they are wearing. This is 1977. This is South London, Camberwell, in a council estate. And we're fabulous, as far as I'm concerned. Look at our shoes. I mean, we are fabulous. Yeah? This was the start of my courageous journey. If I told you where I came from, you wouldn't believe it in terms of the situations that I dealt with when I was younger. But this is where my courageous journey began, on a council estate in South London. You will have your own beginning. You will have your own starting place. Trace it back. Your courageous journey. It didn't start when you got your first job. It didn't start when you were an NQT. It started way back when you had to begin to speak for yourself. You had to begin to have your own opinions. You had to say yes when others would say no. You had to say no when others would say let's go. Trace back the beginning of your courageous journey. That's an illustration of where I started from. Let's fast forward. That's the first day of my headship, 33 years later. I'm head of a school, and at its heart, the school is terrific. We had 70% free school meals, 47 different languages, great young people, great staff, a great curriculum, and all the young people were engaged, and we were experts at delivering the curriculum that we had devised. So here comes the but. You can hear it in my voice, can't you? Our outcomes academically were not good enough. We had a financial deficit of nearly £500,000. And at the end of my first term of headship, I was told I had to make 10% of the entire workforce redundant in that year. That meant 1 person in 10 lost their job. I had 2 members of my senior team who made it their mission to undermine me and make me look like a prize chump. I was scared. I was an experienced deputy head, but a very naive head teacher. I thought that people, colleagues, who were responding with maturity and collaboratively with new approaches. This is what I thought. I was so naive. And then we had a staff meeting when it became crystal clear to me that suddenly I needed courage if I was going to do this job. My staff genuinely thought that the school existed for them and for their salaries to pay their mortgages. And the young people running around were just incidental to this process. I needed courage in great big doses. And that's when I sat and I tried to articulate the kind of courage that I'm going to need. And that's when the 7 statements were born. So here we go. Are you ready? Statement 1. I'm going to read this one to you because I love this statement. I will always feel fear, but I will limit the influence of fear that it has on my actions and on my thoughts. The day you stop feeling fear is the day you stepped into arrogance. Even now, I've been a head a long time. I was a deputy for a long time. I train head teachers. I teach MPQH. I teach a master's program. I train and I coach head teachers in challenging schools. I still feel fear. My heart still skips a beat sometimes. My stomach still flips sometimes. But I limit what those feelings do to me. I limit the action of that fear upon me. I give it no space. I say no further to that fear. You need to do the same. When you feel fear, when it comes, not if, when it comes, recognize it and say, you won't stop me from speaking up. You won't stop me from writing this down. You won't stop me from going here. You won't stop me from applying. You won't stop me from asking for promotion. You won't stop me from going forward. You will not influence me to change and draw back, even though I feel you and I recognize your presence. That's what the courageous person does. It's an inward action. No one knows you're doing it. No one knows you've said it, but you have, and you do, and you say it constantly. Number 2, I know the absence of strength is weakness, but having my strength under control is meekness, and my strength is under control. I'm a strong woman. I'm strong physically. I can deadlift 110 kilograms. Oh, yes. I'm strong emotionally. I'm strong intellectually. But I keep my strength under control. I don't stomp around displaying my strength, beating my chest, frightening people if I can help it. I've had to learn that though, because when I was in my early leadership journey, my strength was on display. I'm the head. I could walk into a room and make a teacher crumble and cry just by walking in. That's not leadership. That's dictatorship. That's not a good thing. I had to learn to keep my strength under control. Such as, I'm strong, but I'm going to smile at you. I'm strong, but I'm going to wish you good morning. I'm going to be human with you. I'm going to ask after your children. I'm going to ask, did you have a good weekend? I'm going to put you at your ease. When I need to be strong, you know I'll have that difficult conversation and we'll go there. But I don't need to roar all the time, even though I'm a lion on the inside. Teachers, leaders who are listening to me now, be strong in your leadership. Be firm with who you are, but you don't have to display it. Have it under control. Take this in. I'm going to substitute the I. You can work on your own. You can work with others. You can work through others. You have all these modes down in your arsenal. You know how to do this. There are times where you just get on with it. It's all you. Just get it done on your own. There are times when you collaborate and work with people. And there are times when you have to work through people to get the thing done. Become an expert at these 3 modes of working. Don't be afraid to let the right answer come out of someone else's mouth. Be courageous. Doesn't mean you have to always be the one that's right. Be courageous and develop others. Be courageous and help others to come forward and shine with you. Shine just as bright as you. Be courageous and shine brightly by yourself sometimes. Take these 3 ways of working and become skilled in them. Work on your own. Work with others. Seek other people. Can I work with you on this? Can I talk this through with you and bounce these ideas off you? And then work through others. If you're leading them, work through them to get the thing done. Say this one to yourself. Say this one with me. I am a human first and a leader second. I remember the importance of family, love, compassion, and grace. Listen to me. There will come times when I was tested on this, where the staff that I was leading, they must have thought that I was some sort of robot, genuinely, that I had no feelings, that I had no empathy, and that if you cut me open, I don't bleed. And they did things that, when I look back now, I wonder, how did I get through this? I cried night after night at home on my own when no one could see. In the morning, you shower, you put on your heels, you put on your lipstick, or whatever you want to wear, and off you go to work. No one knows. I'm human first and a leader second. And staff that would organize strikes and organize letters to go to the DFE and go to the MP and organize all kinds of lies against me. They would do all of that and then come to me a month later, tap, tap on my door. Oh, Miss Osagie, have you got 5 minutes? I just need to talk something through with you. What was my natural reaction? No, I haven't got 5 minutes, make an appointment with my secretary. Of course, I'm human, but I'm also a leader. And I say to them, yeah, of course, come in. What can I do for you? The person that was orchestrating my downfall was the person who needed my help because her son was in trouble, her home was going to be taken from her, all kinds of things were going on in her life, and she needed me to step in as her advocate. I had to struggle with my emotion, but remember the importance of family, love, compassion, and grace. It's a courageous thing to do, to be that way. When you treat people with dignity. Firmly, I've got to have the conversation, I'll have the conversation, but I'll have it with dignity and leave you somewhere to go with the conversation, not leave you crucified to the wall. Remember this one, leaders. Remember this one, teachers. For yourselves, for the people that you lead in your departments, and for the young people in your classrooms. Remember the importance of family, love, compassion, and grace. It's part of your courageous journey. It will make you a great leader, a great teacher, if you hold on to this. I told you I was strong, and you're strong too. You're stronger than you know. Leadership has weight, and you have the emotional and physical strength that you need to carry it. So now, step up to the plate. Rise up in your thinking, in your reading, in your intellectual self, in your emotional self, in your physical self, and carry the leadership that is before you. Physically, I had to get myself down to the gym and get shot of those varicose veins and the excess weight and give myself a physical chance of actually being well enough to do the job that I am called to do. I say to you, put yourself physically in a position where you are well enough, healthy enough to do the job that you are physically able to do. I'm online. Physically, you have to be able to do this job. Physically, you will need the strength. That doesn't come easy. That comes with a little bit of work. Put the work in. Emotionally, become stable. You will need counseling. Get it. You need therapy. Get it. You need coaching. Get it. You need mentoring. Get it. We all need it. We all need support. I've been a leader for 21 years. I still have support. I still have coaching. I still seek out advice. I still seek out mentoring. I still seek out support for my leadership journey. Nobody's exempt from that. Let that sink in for a moment. Where does your support come from? Where are you held up by someone else so you can complete this work? It's important. Do not attempt what we do on your own. Don't go it alone. Walk with people in supportive groups, in coaching groups, in teaching triads, all those mechanisms that we have at our disposal. Walk with others, be a support and be supported. Develop the muscles that we need to carry the weight of leadership. This is part of our courageous journey, developing that emotional, physical strength that we need to carry our leadership weight. I love this one. I am accurate and exacting. If it's going to be done, then let's do it right. We're not sloppy. We're not slapdash. We're not wigging it. We're not hoping for the best. No. We prepare. We read widely. We read deeply. If you remember nothing else tonight, read, and read. If it's going to be done, if you're going to spend time on this, if you're going to do this, then do it properly or don't do it at all. Yeah? Be courageous enough to say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to ask you to do it, and I would like you to do it properly, please. Be courageous and ask for quality. Ask for quality, give quality. It's the final one. I am relentlessly consistent on the things that matter. I have developed insight into what matters. The only way you're going to get developed insight is if you read. Read widely, read deeply, read broadly, read around your subject, read outside your subject. Expand your mind and read. Then you will know what matters. You will have insight. You'll have something to say about what matters because you are well read. Then you can speak up with courage because you are well read. This is what leaders do. I encourage you to do this. I started my own book club. I am the only member of the book club. I choose all the books for the book club. I choose how fast I read the books, and I change the books that I like. It's my own personal book club. You get the idea. Have your own personal book club. Read what you like. Read what you enjoy. Read. Are there more hours in a day? No, you'll still get the same 24. So you have to choose. Is it an hour on Twitter? Or is it 15 minutes on Twitter, 45 minutes reading? Choice. I've had to make those choices. But because I'm called to this, I take my calling seriously. It's not just a job for me. I'm hoping it's not just a job for you. I'm hoping that you really think this is important and that you have a purpose in our profession. I hope you do. I'm sure you do. Therefore, if it matters, read about it. Have a look, please. To date, we have not found a single case of a school improving its student achievement record in the absence of talented leaders. So let me say this as we finish up. You are the generation of great teachers and leaders in the nation. You are good people. I'm asking you to consider the following. As you walk with this leadership journey, talented as you are, skilled as you are, let your expertise grow. Can you, will you make room for courage to be a central pillar of your leadership? Let me say that again. Can you, will you make room for courage to be a central pillar of your leadership. Leaders who are listening to my voice, teachers listening to my voice, from that first staff meeting where I had to announce redundancies all those years ago, to this day where I'm now teaching other leaders, I have never regretted holding courage at the center of my leadership, at the center of me. I could see things others could not see because I dared to see them. I ask you to dare as well. I could lead down avenues where others said, there is no way your school can go there. Where others will say to you, there is no way your department can go there, that your children, that your class, that your practice can be like that. Dare to have the kind of expectation that others will say, I don't think so, love. Dare to have it and move forward towards it. Did I need support? Yes. Will you need support? Yes. Did I make mistakes? Yes. Will you make mistakes? Yes. Did I win? Yes. Will you win? Absolutely. Absolutely. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the central part of what I call the courageous statements of leadership. I'm going to open up the mics now, and you are welcome to talk to me. If you've got a radio on or anything in the background, I beg, please turn it off. It will make noise and everyone will hear it. But let me just unmute, and you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to make a comment. Or if you want to sign off, you can sign off. Up to you. But I'm happy to talk to anyone who's there. So unless you've muted yourself, the rest of you are unmuted and you're welcome to speak. Anyone got a question or a comment like to make? Go ahead. Are you all going to be silent and all shy now?
Diana, thank you very much for an inspirational presentation to us all. I must admit, it's sometimes quite daunting joining a group where I'm a middle leader at the moment, but to have someone that's so inspirational and really does embed where we currently are at and where we'd like to be, it really does provide us with the courage to move forward. So thank you very much for your presentation.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that. So until next time, I do a webinar. I think I do one every 2 or 3 months or so, but you'll see them on the Opogo platform. So I hope to see you again. Okay? Good night, everybody. Have yourself a good evening. Bye-bye now.